How to Create a Glitch Monologues Season 39 Chapter 5. This is Season 39 of How to Create a Glitch in the Matrix Monologues Episode 5. In this episode, we will be drawing together our thoughts in the last few episodes regarding emotional calibration with migratory narratives and multipolar tonic-dominant relationships. To start off, people assume that their choices are ultimately their own. What they don't realize is that every involvement they have with another person is a multi-leveled experience. The 9 narratives of the 9 plates, the migratory narratives, all play out in the moment of an exchange, which subconsciously influence the life choices that we make. Thus, although contact with specific persons can be multipolar, in the sense that they have repeated meetings, these meetings represent a multidimensional conversation, where each narrative finds expression and ultimately influences the choices one makes subconsciously. That is to say, our example in the last episode, of a narrative about basketball reoccurring, is probably reoccurring around the same individual because it comprises one of the polar conversations which our mind hides within the unconscious. All of this being said, larger personal life decisions can be made as a consequence of those narratives as well. For example, in our deposition example, the 2 lawyers talking. The first, mundane layer, is the layer of the deposition itself. On a higher level, the lawyers are chatting about their romantic lives. This leads to one lawyer giving the other lawyer advice about his life, which leads to him later, without knowing it, asking out a woman. He then, upon meeting the other lawyer again, reports back to him about the change in his life, all of this occurring fully within an unconscious state. The point is that these concealed narratives can play a huge role in our life choices. Anything from which deodorant we buy to what job we have or even what city we live in. This tells us something important as well about time. Since we know that each encounter with a specific person reaffirms or recapitulates a specific narrative or thought process or behavior, we can localize the source of specific behaviors to specific individuals who we have encountered. More importantly, we also know that the careful reoccurrence of these encounters at specific times can affirm specific life choices made in their absence. Let me give you an example. Suppose one day you meet an acquaintance. You talk about the weather. You say goodbye. The next day, owing to one of the concealed conversations, the higher level meaning, you apply for a job on the other side of the country. A few days later, you get an interview, but you have changed your mind. You don't cancel it, however. The meeting is 2 weeks away. Now, 2 days before the interview, you run into that acquaintance again, and he again affirms the choice in a concealed narrative. The next day you decide to go through with the interview, completely unbeknownst to you as a result of the acquaintance's advice. The point is, the timing of encounters ultimately guarantees our entanglement with the result. Thus, narratives are intermingled with recurring relationships, or multipolar relationships. Understanding this, it is possible to see why glitching by resisting ordinary associations and habit breaking is so important. These casual meetings are the stuff that subconscious influence is made of. They are necessary for the effectuation of a particular thought process. Individuals have no idea that their internal narratives are interwoven with the people around them, who maintain the certainty of a non-impulsive, in-the-moment, action. Planning occurs in the entangling of our actions in a web of others. That's the end of the podcast for today. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe.